Hey, everybody, it's Greg Harrelson here with the Level Up podcast, and I have got a great guest with us. It's actually a returning guest. His name is Pratt. I have known Haas for many, many, many years, and I think one of the things that really kind of brought he and I together is surely mutual friends, but the fact that we just became obsessed with listing properties early on in our career. And that obsession, I think, led us both to really hone on skills and really figure out kind of like, how to master the art of taking listings. Haas wrote a book in 2017 called The Listing Boss. You got that there? There you go. Yep. The Listing Boss. And what's interesting is that it's information that just is relevant no matter when you're in the business. So when it comes to listings, there's not a lot that's changed. I can promise you that, but we're going to talk about that. Just to kind of kick off the conversation, though, with Haas, I want to say to everybody and be kind of transparent. I asked Haas a question before I hit the record button, and I realized it was kind of a dumb question. But look, I even ask dumb questions sometimes. And I said, Haas, you and I both are into coaching, and we coach the subject of getting listings. Man, what's really changed in your coaching? And he just said, he kind of looked at me and he says, look, man, I'm just doubling down on the basics. And I said, of course you are. That's a dumb question. But Haas, welcome again to the Level Up podcast.
Hey man, this is my favorite podcast. You are my favorite person to talk to. Like I said, man, we're brothers from another mother. Every time I'm here, I love it. The value that the listeners get just out of this conversation. That's what I hope to do today, just to bring value to everybody that's listening.
Yeah. You're an OG. So how long have you been in this just the industry? I mean, how long have you been? I've been around 28 years, 27 years somewhere. You've been at 20?
I've been in real estate 20 years, coaching and training full-time for 13.
For 13 years. Yeah. I know you've developed a lot of talent and helped a lot of people, surely turn around their businesses and build listing inventories. So I know you're doing a lot of coaching. You're not only are you coaching on your own team, but you coach outside agents. My first question for you is, what pains are you hearing from the people that you're coaching right now? Like, what are their pains? Like, I'm sure you have solutions, but what are the pains that they're bringing to you? Where are you feeling pain in the area of those agents right now in the industry?
It's the same pain today as what it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And it's the pain of not having near enough conversations. Mm-hmm. So an agent is not having the amount of conversations and the quality conversations that they need to with prospective buyers and sellers in their marketplace. And that's what I do. And that's what I help them with, is help them systemize their business in a way that it forces that work out of them to have those conversations, and then to coach them on the skill to get better at making it, easy for people to tell you yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it comes down to, their pains are they're not talking to enough people. Is that what you're saying?
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
So they don't, here's why. They don't have systems in their business. So they let their cell phone and email control their day, and they don't run it like a system. They don't run their day and their time like a system. They don't systemize their time. They don't systemize their lead generation. So therefore conversion doesn't happen because they're not having near the conversations. I mean, they're trying to run a business out of a white notebook, and so today you need to leverage technology in a way that allows you to systemize the business so you can show up for the system, removing the thought and increasing the action.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. One of the things that's resonating with me as you're talking is, I think that our industry over the last, 10 years, we myself included, I really focus on leveraging technology, leveraging staff, delegation, but I think there's not enough conversation on leveraging oneself.
Yes.
And we got to remember that we're the skilled individuals, right? And if we would leverage ourselves like we leverage technology, as a matter of fact, you can leverage technology 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all throughout the year. You don't have to leverage yourself all day, every day throughout the year. You only need to leverage yourself maybe a few hours, block off that time to make some contacts. So I think that people need to go back to leveraging themselves, since they're the breadwinners of they're converting better than their technology's converting. It's just their technology's working harder than they're working.
Yeah. And I call them high leverage activities in real estate. There's activities that are the $10 an hour work, and then the activities that really matter and drive results. And I believe that the activities that every agent needs to be doing is prospecting for new business, presenting on buyer appointments, seller appointments, building relationships, and leading yourself first. And then you can lead your team. Leading, meaning like listening to this podcast, is leading, right? It's a good use of anybody's time today when they're learning from us. But when they get off here, they need to be prospecting, presenting, and building relationships. And I find that anything that is not those four things get in the way of a high performance agent and holds them back. And so what I say is double down on that. Double down on the prospecting, the presenting, the building relationships, and the leading. Any technology that allows you to maximize your time in those four areas is a good use of technology. Those four things are hard to replace. It's hard to replace a conversation human to human. You can automate as much as you want, but all roads lead to the phone. All roads lead to a conversation. You cannot automate your way out of that one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, that's so true. It's interesting. Since the expireds over the last couple of years kind of they weren't eliminated. They still existed, but at a lower number. Yeah. I heard a lot of agents asking questions like, well, who do you call? I mean, there's no expired. So what are you telling those coaching clients that you have, or agents that are on your team that are asking you that question? Who should people be contacting right now?
It's like this, take FSBOs for sale by owners and expireds. It's like a teeter-totter. You got a lot of FSBOs. That means there's a lot of confidence in the marketplace. You're going to have less expireds. You have more expireds. There's less confidence in the marketplace. So these two tend to do this. So, like expireds now are increasing, that's a great niche right now. Going after the old expireds. Think about people that expired in the last year. But the answer is you target niches, because the riches are in the niches, and you target people that want to sell. You either people that want to sell or people that need your help. And that could look like this, Greg: FSBOs, expireds, 30, 60, 90-day late mortgage leads, probate leads, divorcees, absentee owners. These are, here's a good niche right now, is an amazing niche, is the COVID buyer remorse niche. Everybody that bought in 2020, 21, that, the one who won the offer against the 37 other offers, that person, they're not happy now.
The winner?
Yeah. The winner is feeling like a loser. And so this niche is a great niche, and everybody's situation's different, but in any shifting market, in any market, there's always a niche. There's always an opportunity. This in 08, 09, 2010, I was traveling the country training agents, and there are big time agents that had to shift and pivot, and they didn't miss a beat. They went from doing traditional real estate to doing short sale REO, and that's where we are. There's always niches out there that are create opportunity. But I don't believe FSBOs and expireds ever go away. I don't care if there's not any expireds. I still have an expired system. I recommend that to everybody. Just because they're not here today doesn't mean they're not going to be there, in a month.
Yeah, I agree. I always say it's expireds, old expireds, and FSBOs are kind of the staples. Yes. Those are the staples. Like, everybody should master that. Now, I know everybody won't, but I'm speaking to everybody. Everybody should master those three pillars. And then there's always going to be other pillars, but those are to me, the staples, the core pillars that everyone should know that. And then you might take on probate, or you may take on those COVID buyers that you were talking about. But everybody should know those three pillars, in my opinion. Now, once you identify a pillar, I think we would agree that consistency and frequency is important, like doing it every single day at this time, having structure and being disciplined. How important, because people say, well, you know what, I'm not always able to make my calls, in the morning. Sometimes I like to do them in the afternoon, or sometimes I like to do them in the evening. But when you can sense that somebody is saying that, I know that's important to get them done, but I don't know, sometimes I do this, sometimes I do that. What do you say to that person? Because I hear that all the time now.
I see a confused agent when I hear that.
Okay, good. All right.
I hear an agent that doesn't have their priorities straight, because in this sense, what you're saying, nothing is more important than that time. Everything else gets in the way. So the consistency is so important, because it has to happen every day. I know for me, I experience this in real estate. I tell people I never missed a day of prospecting in my life in real estate. I didn't, because every day from 9 to noon, I was on the phone setting appointments. I believe that nothing in real estate happens until noon anyway. So everything can wait. Cell phones can wait. Emails can wait. Negotiations can wait, until noon. And you're a maker in the morning and a manager in the afternoon. You see, in real estate, we can't ever take our foot off that throttle, because we're unemployed every 90 days. Like when we get a listing and we close on it, we got to go get another one. So being habitual is so important, and being consistent is important. Like you can't negotiate with yourself. And this is the thing. You want to remove negotiating with yourself, because you're a pretty good negotiator when you're negotiating with yourself.
Yeah, you got to be non-negotiable with you.
Non-negotiable. Like
non-negotiable.
At 9 a.m., that phone is ringing, and you have to be militant about it to where it's not even at 9:05. Like so the mindset is you wouldn't even think about doing anything between that time. And here's the thing, Greg, I've worked with a lot of people. It goes from this. It goes from feeling a little uncomfortable doing it. Maybe they're not skilled. They don't know what they're doing. I believe in anybody listening is you underestimate how long it takes to get confident. Meaning it only takes a few weeks of consistent calling to get a little confident. And within that 2 weeks, here's what happens. You go from, being scared of the phone, being, fighting the law of resistance to pick up the phone, to being at a place of serenity and peaceful. And that time becomes sacred. It becomes a time where, like anything else during that time, it pains you to be doing anything. And so it flips. The relationship that you have to the activity flips when you're consistent. And that's where I always try to get everybody to the place where they remove the thought, they remove the negotiating with themselves, and they turn that 9 to noon into a time of it's sacred. Nothing's more important than that time of having.
It's like a ritual. It's more like a ritual. Yeah. One of the things that I coach within my companies is we have the pregame, which is the minute you wake up till 8 o'clock. That's the pregame, like maybe an exercise, like in basketball or any sports, you got the pregame routine. And then at 8 to 11, because I'm an 8 to 11 guy, you are a 9 to 12 guy, same 3 hours, right? At 8 to 11, I call that the game. That's at 8 o'clock, it's tip-off time. We play the game. It lasts for 3 hours. And then when the game's over, the buzzer goes off, then we got the post-game routine, which you said you're the maker from 9 to 12 and the manager after that, right? It's kind of similar. I got the pregame, the game, and the postgame. For those of you that are listening, if it's easy for me to say, hey, look, Haas and I have taken a lot of listings in our lives, and probably even more rewarding, we've coached a lot of people to take a lot of listing in their lives. So, I'm going to self-proclaim, no matter how bad that sounds, that myself and Haas really know about the art of listing property. And notice how we may have some different verbiage. I've got the game, the pregame. He's got the manager, the maker. We both got 3 different hours. He's 9 to 12. I'm 8 to 11. But even though there's slight variations, look at the consistency in the message of 2 people that get similar results, living in different places around the world, not working together, and it's working. It's really working. So I just want to reiterate that for everybody that's listening right now, because I don't think that we have all the answers, but we just gave you one answer to really break through in the area of your business. So what else is going on? Go ahead, please. Yeah, add to it.
So I had a gal come in from Chicago. She spent 2 days with me. She's not good on the phone. she paid me a lot of money to come spend 2 days with me to coach her. And I did. And she, imagine a person who's never picked up a phone come in to spend 2 days. And she comes with all my scripts, and she had all my scripts marked off and marked off. Like, she had all these notes on pages. And I look at it, I go, this is overwhelming. Like, even I look at this and I feel overwhelmed. And I threw the scripts and I go, you will never know those scripts until you start picking up the phone. And so y'all can prepare to know what to say, but you will never know what to say until you start saying it, until you start having those conversations. And here's the thing, Greg, in that 2 days, we set 4 listing appointments. And I asked her, I said, what else could you do to set 2 listing appointments a day? Like, what else is there? What else could you do? You know, are there other ways to do that? Sure. Oftentimes it takes spending a lot of money to do that. But even in that case, you know, all roads lead to the phone, right? Let's say if I do a postcard campaign, what's the goal of a postcard campaign? To get them to call me, right? So knowing what to say is important. That's why when you say like FSBOs and expireds are good, it's because it gives you a place to learn the words to say, how to communicate, how to take somebody who doesn't know you and convince them that you're the agent to put the sign in the ground. And like, that's what it is, like separating ourselves from everybody else. That's why I love that niche, those niches, because it gives you the battlefield, the training ground to be able to master your craft in real estate.
Yeah. It's kind of like swimming is what I hear you saying. Like I'm not going to teach you how to be a good swimmer in a classroom.
No,
no, you're going to have to get your butt wet. You have to get in the pool, and then you're going to figure it out. And that's how this works, right? Get in there with that. You're kind of telling people right now, what Haas is telling you. It's like, hey, ready, fire, aim.
Yes. You don't learn unless you're doing.
Yes.
It's the only way you learn. I spoke at a high school 2 weeks ago in West Texas. I made the teachers and the principals mad, but the kids loved it. And one of the things I said is you're not going to learn anything in these walls. You learn everything outside the walls. And this is for me. I didn't go to college. I barely made it through high school. I learned this. I learned everything in the trenches. And that's how, as a real estate agent, you learn fast, is just get in it, fail, start, getting bit, all you gotta do is say one thing. You're like, okay, I'm going to say that again, And so I just want to encourage everybody that even though you don't know, maybe you don't feel prepared, like you will get good in a week. You will get good in 2 weeks as long as you're consistent and persistent. And for your notes, here's how long you persist. You persist until what? Until what? Until there is no, if I like it, if I don't, if I'm good at it or I'm not, if this niche is good, if this niche is bad, it's persist until. And I think that mindset is something that I know we both share. Like nothing will ever stop me and Greg. Like we will do whatever it takes in all things, in all markets. And it's the basics, Greg. It's that's what we've mastered, is the basics. And in a shifted market like that we're in, this is a basics market. When agents are getting out of the industry because they haven't mastered the basics, double down on that. And I know that there's a lot of artificial intelligence out there, talk in the world. Here's what I would tell you. What's more important than artificial intelligence is authentic intelligence. And authentic intelligence is the intelligence of the future. You can leverage artificial, but be authentically intelligent.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. I really do. And, the last couple of years, it's really interesting. I hear a lot of coaches on Facebook. These are usually coaches that they were producers for a year and they became a coach, and they're coaching on like, got to get back to the basics. And I'm like, that person doesn't even know what he doesn't even know what the basics are. He's never even done the basics. I know when you say get back to the basics, I know you never left the basics. You're telling everybody else to get back to it, but you never actually strayed from it. But it's been very tempting from an industry standpoint for a lot of agents. A lot of people did move away from these core fundamentals. And they're having a hard time getting back to it. Like it's almost like it's a mental block. They're having a hard time getting back into the office, getting back into a prospecting station, and going out and making these calls. And all I can say is that, like you said, it doesn't take long. You do it for 2 or 3 weeks, and you're back into the swing of things. And so for anybody that did it in the past and you got away from it and your business is suffering, that what we're talking about is the right thing, but you, for some reason, are not finding that inner motivation. I would just say to you, don't wait till you feel motivated. Just get out there, do the work, and then you'll be motivated in time. But you just put a couple, just like going to the gym. Mm-hmm. Don't resist going to the gym because you're going to be sore for the first week. Just surrender to the soreness, get back to work, and you'll see your business break through.
Just show up. All you got to do, listen, this is a human behavior. When things change, they sit back, and we all do this. But we sit back and we think, okay, when I know I need to do something, but I'm not doing it, it creates stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety are born from inaction. It is born from the thinking and where you're talking about. So what you do is you drown your thoughts in action. Don't think, just do. Like all you got to do to turn that around is show up one day. It's just, and this, just show up one day. After the first 10 calls, you're going to be like, man, why did I ever stop doing this? And it's that, and it's not even about, let's say, here's the words I always hear. Prospecting, cold calling, these words that have negative connotation to people. Yes. Here's all it is: conversations. Prospecting is nothing more than conversations. Following up with leads and lead follow-up is nothing more than conversations. And if you don't set the intention of setting the appointment, you will follow up till death. If you don't I want you to hear this, y'all. If you don't set the intention of the reason that you're prospecting and having these conversations is to set an appointment, you won't set an appointment. Yeah. So the reason that you're on the phone having conversations from 9 to noon or 8 to 11 is to set the appointment. That's the whole purpose of the call.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. Again, we're definitely cut from the same cloth, because I'm constantly saying, like, if your intention is to make contacts, if you're contacting people for the intention to make contacts, you're going to make contacts.
Yeah, that's right.
But if the intention of the contact is to set appointments, you're going to set appointments.
That's it. Change this thinking. This one thing is so powerful.
It's you'll hear opportunities that you didn't hear before.
Right.
It shifts the listening.
Yes.
What I see. So look, what about the market? Like, how does the market change what you coach, right? Because people are complaining right now, well, the market's soft. There's not as many transactions. There's only going to be 4.5 million sales. Just 2 years ago, there was 6.5 million sales. There's a lot less business, a lot of real estate agents. There might be a recession, inflation. So all this is going on right now, real or not real. That's the chatter. What are you changing in what you're telling your agents to do?
It doesn't matter. None of that matters.
Right.
The only thing that matters is your actions. So I'm not a person who thinks at all about the market. I really don't. I don't think about interest rates. I don't think in terms of where the market's going, how many transactions there are. Like, I don't think that way, because I just know that, from experience, is as long as if you're doing the right actions, it leads to the result. So like because you don't control all of those things. You don't control anything but yourself. And so that may be the reality. It may make us pivot, change our approach a little bit, but at the end of the day, not much changes. I mean, we may change who we're going after a little, but like the conversation's still the same, like there's a lot of urgency in the market right now. That's good. I mean, if somebody wants to sell their house, when's the best time to sell? Like right now, they still have equity. We're in a transformational market, meaning it's not a transactional market. A transformational market means that, people have more equity in their home than ever before. And what we do is we need to give them permission to get this equity out and then to post up and find what the next move is. But it makes sense for sellers to get the equity out now, to find out where they want to go next and post up. Like, maybe they rent for a year. Like, have that conversation with sellers, because I find, Greg, people need permission to take action. All these people that, all that y'all are going to be talking to, they're sitting there, they have their story, they have their desires, but they're sitting there waiting for you to give them permission to go for it.
Yeah. In a way, they want to be told what to do.
They want to be told what to do, and they want to trust the person that is telling them.
That's right. Well, man, I tell you what, I had an idea what I was going to get out of you, which was exactly what you gave everybody. And, for those of you listening, I tell you, I know with 100% conviction that Haas is giving you information that he truly believes. And look, the proof's in the pudding. You've gotten thousands and thousands of listings in your career. I have also, and we've coached people to get so many listings in their career. And it's kind of talking about a niche. Our niche has been listings.
Yes.
And I think the audience out there, everybody wants listings. Even it doesn't matter what the market is. Everybody wants listings. There is no magic pill on getting listings. There's just some habits that you need to form, and that's it. So, hey, before we get off, any final thoughts, any final words that you could just share with the Level Up audience?
Yes. Listen, this is big. Your goal is to become authentic. Because authenticity is the most powerful force to leave the human body. Authenticity is why I have goosebumps on my face from head to toe, because authenticity is believing what you're saying. And when you believe what you say, authenticity comes out, and that's what gets people that feeling, that confidence to work with you. So what I would tell you is and this is what I help people with, Greg, you help people with, is we help people believe what it is that they're saying. And that's the market that we're in, is no matter what you do, no matter what your approach, believe what you say, because that is going to be a difference maker. That gives you the confidence, that gives you the conviction and the passion to communicate in a way that most won't. And I believe that's what separates the greats from the average agents.
Yeah, you know what? And I tell you what, Haas, I believe you brought authenticity today. I believe that if the recording was stopped, I know you're the same person that you are when the recording's on. So I just want to acknowledge you for that authenticity, because I think we need more of that in the industry, in the world. I don't want to get too worldly on people, but I think that we need that. Quite frankly, sometimes there's some people can't handle authenticity, and because a lot of times it's truth, right? But I think that those who deliver authenticity, like you said, you appear to be confident, and when you have confidence in yourself, then the consumer has confidence in yourself also.
That's right,
and that's where you convert. Well, Haas, man, I'm sure we'll do this again. I do really appreciate you doing it again with me. And I think it's just was important to get back into that old school listing mentality, give that to the audience. So if somebody wanted to reach out, I know you do some coaching. Is it Haas Pratt Coaching? Haas Pratt? You
go to HaasPratt.com. Yeah, HaasPratt.com. And there's a free business plan there that everybody needs to get and download. It's an amazing business plan. It's free. You can go there. I'll give it to you, and let's start there. And we'll see what we can do. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I'm happy to help.
That sounds good. All right, everybody. Well, for those of you that are new to Level Up Podcast, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, make a comment. All of that will help us, get more exposure, and then we can even get, additional guests, to share their insights on the business. Well, Haas, thank you again for connecting, and we'll see everybody later.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg.